All right, welcome in everybody. It is Wednesday evening, and you know what? It has been literally almost 4 years to the day since the last time we had Mississippi State track and field. It was May of 2020 when we had Cameron Crump all the way back in season one. And here we are, season 10, coming back around. This time we got Mallory Streetman on. How are you doing today?
I'm good.
Are you sure? You sound a little quiet and nervous. We're not going to be reserved like that all episode, are we?
Uh, no, I think I'll be
All
good.
right, all right. Do you happen to know who Cameron Crump is?
Yes, I do. We traveled to Oregon together this summer, and
So
we were
you
on the team
know
together
he's got a
last
lot
year.
of energy, so you got to match. Like you got to come with it now that I told you that.
He's great. He still
So,
trains here too, so I see him
um, does he?
occasionally.
Is he? Still trying to go to the Olympics, or what's he doing?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's here training for Paris. I'm pretty sure he has the Olympic standard already, so he just needs to compete and hit it again for this year.
Yeah, I actually knew him and had him on because he played football with my nephew in the middle of nowhere high school, and he was just so much faster than everybody on the field. And they didn't even have a track team at that school. It's so small. So when he was at Mississippi State, I wasn't surprised at all because when you just watched him play football against everybody else, he was just so much more gifted than everyone.
Yeah, he's awesome.
So speaking of athletes, last night I was at the University of Memphis. Mississippi State was in town. It's a lot closer to me than actual Starville. Went and watched Dakota Jordan hits one like 1 million feet. I got to ask you, Mallory, do you get a chance to go over to Duty Noble and watch the baseball games?
Oh yeah, I think I could probably count on one hand how many games I've missed, honestly. You just, it's such a good environment. You have to go to the games.
Yeah, I feel that way about Mississippi State sports in general.
Yeah.
Whether you're talking about softball, baseball, football, volleyball, whatever, track and field, you can just and everything seems like it's just in a close walking distance to go to one another. And so yeah, it's a really good school for supporting the other sports teams. I want to ask you about Instagram for a second. I usually don't do this. You're actually like the first one ever, but I saw something that caught my eye. So you're a Mississippi State athlete, and I saw you at Duty Noble in an Ole Miss sweatshirt.
Oh my gosh.
Talk to me here.
Well, my best friend from home, she plays soccer at Ole Miss, and we'll always like just make day trips. And I forgot a jacket, and it was the only thing in her car. And she came to the game with me. I know,
I think I would rather be cold. That's a bold move
I
inside.
know,
Mm.
but if it's supporting her, it's like okay. But I know
You have to walk around with a sign on your
I was like walking
that
around
says
like this.
supporting my friend.
I know. I sent it to Kate and I was like, can I post this on Instagram? Like this feels so disrespectful. Like I need to put like an emoji or something over it. Or
It's all right though. I saw, you represent Christ on your page and show that you're a Christian athlete. So we'll let it slide. We know that you are good at heart ultimately. So Um, wanted to talk to you just because there's a lot going on in women's sports before we get your story. I just happened to be covering the NCAA gymnastics championships, and then there was the WNBA, which just came off the basketball championship. So, as a female athlete, just how proud are you just to see how much attention female athletics is getting right now, especially because the numbers are showing that, it's not one of these things that we're just kind of blowing up. It really is, even in basketball, it surpassed the men. So, just how proud are you as a female athlete to see that standard being moved?
it's actually insane. Like even just being at a normal track meet, it's insane to watch like these women just bust out these crazy times. And I'm like I feel like I could do it one day. And it's so insane that like I'm held to that standard. And you bring up the gymnastics. I used to be a gymnast and I've been like so invested all season. So I could sit and literally talk to you for like an hour just about the college gymnastics season. It's been awesome to watch.
Yeah, it came around full circle. I actually created a documentary a couple days ago, but Kaya Johnson was the first gymnast we had ever had on. She actually
He's so
um,
awesome.
has
The
became
whole I'm literally obsessed with the whole LSU team. Like they're amazing.
Yeah, we've had five of them on, me and my son or my daughter or my wife. I always go with somebody. Only one time did we actually all go together, but went down there and she became more and more like family as did they. And so me and my son went to Fort Worth and were there for the whole thing and was even in the after party and took pictures of all of them, held a trophy. And it was just as
That's
somebody who
awesome.
covers baseball and has been there for the Mississippi State Championship in 2021 and then LSU's in 2023, this to me was more monumental because it felt like someone in my family had won the title because we've been following her for 4 years now.
Mhm. Yes, I actually did gymnastics with a friend growing up that and she competed at LSU. She graduated like 2 years ago. So I've been keeping up with them since she was there. So it's been kind of cool to watch the whole thing.
So when's Mississippi State going to get a gymnastics program? Because that's the thing. Some of these schools, y'all don't get the opportunity to see it all the time unless you watch it on TV. We need
I
to. I think the
know
whole SEC needs to get a team.
they do. Actually, growing up, I grew up a Mississippi State fan my whole life. So I used to tell my mom, I was like I can't go to Mississippi State, like they don't have a gymnastics team. And it's so funny looking back because I keep up with everyone in college gymnastics now.
Well,
So
luckily for you, you chose a different sport and you ultimately got to go to Mississippi State. So it worked out. But two more questions, real quick, that we ask every single guest before we start the show to break the ice. If you could go see any musician anywhere, who are you going to see? Where are you going to see them?
hmm. Okay, everyone in my family basically has been to a Billy Joel concert and they sound so much fun. So probably there. I don't know where
You
though.
got a destination? Is there a city you would like to just go to? Just that
Um,
one?
maybe New York. I've never been to New York.
There we go. Times Square, I hear you. All right. So if you could go see any athlete or team, in the country, and you could go, well, I say country in the world, and you can go see them anywhere, who are you going to see? Where are you going to see them?
Hmm. Probably this hurdler, Sydney McLaughlin. She is awesome. And honestly, I'd go to Eugene, Oregon, Hayward Field. I went there this summer, but like seeing that would be awesome.
As someone who doesn't know much about track, for obvious reasons, I know where that is and why. So that's awesome. Yeah, I was actually waiting for you to say somewhere like because of the Olympics and stuff, and you were talking about earlier. I was waiting for you to say Paris or Tokyo or something like that.
Yeah. Or there's a long jumper from Gulfport, Mississippi. She graduated from high school. I wish I could like go back in time and watch her compete at the Olympics.
No
Because
doubt.
I was so young at the time, I just didn't know. But it's so cool to have someone like that from your hometown. It would have been awesome to witness it, really.
Absolutely. So let's get to that. Your hometown. Where exactly are you from?
I'm from Gulfport, Mississippi.
All right. So when you say that it's not some small town on the side or whatever, you're actually
No.
from Gulfport.
Yes.
All right. So we always like to ask this. If we were going to Gulfport, what would you say is the one thing we gotta do or eat or whatever? What's like the one thing that Gulfport should be known for?
Honestly, I used to work at this oyster restaurant, Felix's. Going to eat there and just walking on the beach. Anytime I go home, first thing I do, I'm usually pulling up like around sunset. First thing I do is go to the beach and walk.
Plug for Felix's. We need an NIL deal ASAP. She's plugging you on the show. Look at that. All right. So talk to me about family. Who you got in the family? You got mom, dad, brothers, sisters. What are we looking at?
I have mom and stepdad and dad and pawpaw, really close with pawpaw on both sides, close with both grandparents. And everyone's on the coast. I have some cousins in like Clinton, Mississippi, but mainly everyone is on the coast. There's and even Gulfport. There's like half the people are in Long Beach, which is like a 10-minute drive. So growing up, everything has always been Gulfport,
Right.
especially Mississippi.
So growing up, you have all these family members, you talk about your grandparents, who would you say is the person who is most influential on you growing up? If you had to just say one person.
My papa, definitely. We he retired the year that I was born. So instead of going to like preschool, the first few years, like we were like this and we're still like this.
So is he someone that, you've been able to count on when you were growing up? Some people don't have the luxury of, their parents are working and they can't make it to their meet or whatever. Is he the one that you could always count on? You look over and he's there.
Yes, like anyone in my whole family is like they're not gonna miss a meet, which I'm so thankful for. I was telling my roommate, I'm like, I need to be more thankful for that. Because we traveled to California like 2 weeks ago, and my mom's like I need to book flights. Like, let me know. And I look up, like I can always finish a race and look in the stands. Someone's gonna be there, which is so nice. Even in California, which is crazy.
Yeah, I've always wondered as I've covered sports how these families are always at the events now that they're in college and everything. And now that my daughter's fixing to go to LSU, she's talked about whether she's going to play or not. She has the opportunity. There's actually schools I wanted her to go to other than LSU for soccer. Even though I'm an LSU fan, I just thought there was better opportunity. But that aside, you know, if she does choose it, I don't know that I have the time. I don't know how these parents do it. They're always at every event that I
It's
go to and
insane.
cover. It's like,
It's
do you work?
It's a full-time job. Like my mom, she's a retired teacher, but she from the public school, but she went back to a private school. So the hours are a little like she can take off because it's like her second career in life. So that's why she's doing it. So it's easier for her to travel and stuff.
I always liked the way it was actually Mississippi State. Greg James, who his son Cameron and Keegan's played for a baseball team, and then his daughter Sterling had played for Jones College, and they were all three playing, and he was actively driving to one, flying to one, whatever. And I said, I don't know how you do it. Do you even sleep at night? And he's like, not really. He goes, but the way I look at it is I only have one chance to do this as a dad and support my
Yeah,
kids. So he's like, I'll sleep later. Money, it is what it is. And so it's a perspective. If you love your kids
it
and you support your
is.
kids, you just find a way.
So true. I'm like, it's okay if you miss like a race. It's not gonna hurt my feelings. I always like make sure they know that. But it is so awesome to
You,
know
they
that.
they go a long way, and then you have a bad race, and they're like,
I
seriously,
know.
put
I'm
you
like, I
with
have
us?
to race good now. I can't have a bad race if you traveled across the whole entire country. Like,
Absolutely. So when it comes to high school, first, where did you go to high school?
I want to go for high.
Okay, so depending on where you're at, some schools have a track program to where it's highly competitive. You're competing with other schools. Some you have to do competitive outside of school, and you may have still done it, but was your high school, was it competitive to where you were able to actually get competition within school?
Not really. It was just like join the team, like you're gonna run, which that's how all of Mississippi track is. There's not really maybe like one or two schools that like you're gonna have to try out, you're gonna have to meet a standard. But if you're willing to join the track team at Gulfport High, like you have a spot.
There you go. Hey, there's a spot for everybody. So when it comes to doing competitive, track outside of school, because like I said, you're only our fourth track, athlete all time. And so we don't get to talk about this a lot. Is it right after school type of deal, or what does a practice schedule look like? I assume that your races are on the weekend, but what does your practice schedule look like?
In high school, it was just like after school, whoever shows up, like you'll get a workout maybe, but it was nothing like I did not train in high school. I played other sports and like I just did track on the side. So when I got here, I was like, what is going on? because my body was not.
So,
I had
so you were doing other sports and track was kind of a side thing. So how did you decide, before you tell me about picking Mississippi State, but how did you decide, hey, this is what I'm going to do in college now when it was, kind of the thing you did on the side?
I think by my junior year, the end of my junior year, track season was just so much fun. And I was like I don't really like train for this or like do anything really. I feel like I want to run in college. I want to see how much better I can get because if I'm not really doing anything now and just running for fun, imagine how much more rewarding it would be, you know?
Yeah. So you talk about being a Mississippi State fan. Was there other schools you looked at, or being that were Mississippi State through and through, there was no doubt where you were going when it came to it?
I like talked to like Southern Miss and like UAB, South Alabama, a few other schools, like not little schools, but as soon as Mississippi State like emailed me back the first time and were like I was blowing up their email because I wanted Mississippi State, but I wasn't that good in high school. So the first time they had showed like any interest at all, I was like, give me the pin. Like I want to commit right now. No offer yet or anything, but I was like, I'm going to Mississippi State. I'm running track at Mississippi State.
Gotcha. So you get there, we talk about you want to perform for, your family when they come. Now you're going to somewhere where it's been a dream of yours to go your whole life. So as far as expectations, are you more nervous or are you excited because, you've reached a spot, or do you feel now the pressure to perform because you are there?
I'm so excited. And it just gets better and better every day, honestly. Cause like I'm so excited to go to practice. I'm so excited to train. And it's not, I haven't really been doing track long enough for it to be like a chore to me, which I'm so grateful for. I didn't train like that in high school. So like it's a privilege that everything I have here is helping me so much because I didn't do that in high school.
Makes sense. So, when you go to the SID page and you try to look up, it's really hard to find out what all you do on the track team, Mallory. If it wasn't for Instagram, I wouldn't know because they don't give me the info. So I know you do the relay. Outside of the relay, what all do you do on the track team?
I am mainly an 800-meter runner. I will sometimes do like a 15 or a mile, or I'll run the 4x4 for some practice. But my main event is the 800, and it's Mississippi State's the perfect school for that, honestly. So
So when you say the 800, are you talking about the 4x800 relay, or are you talking about you run it individually as well?
I run it individually.
Okay.
The
So
4x8 isn't really a thing in college. It's just like we do it sometimes at a meet. So
gotcha. All right. Well, that was going to kind of lead to my next question, though. Is individual something that you like more, or do you like working as a team in something?
I'm definitely a relay girl, honestly, because like I grew up playing team sports. So sometimes coming across the finish line and like having your teammates celebrate with, that's so much better than just like finishing a race by yourself.
Yeah. So freshman season, let's pick out a moment. What would you say? What race, what meet, what moment, whatever the case may be. What was your favorite thing of your freshman season?
Honestly, running at the SEC championships because it was like not on my radar at all freshman year. Like I came in so far behind, I there was no way there it was even on my mind to run at a SEC championship. And I remember like my coach calling me after our home meet because I ran like a 2:10 800, which was like so crazy at the time. And I was at OB's eating with my family, and she's like, "Hey, like we're gonna take you to outdoor SECs," and I was like, "Oh my gosh, this is insane!" Because I just never thought that at all coming in. I probably would have laughed at you, honestly, if you would have said like I would have ran a 2:10 my freshman year. Because
So, I mean,
the
is
meeting
that
coming in, my coach was like everyone has a spot on this team. Like we're gonna try and get you down like 2:15, maybe 2:12 by the end of the year. And like into April, I'm running 2:10, which is just insane.
so does that mean it's safe to say you achieved your expectations and some if you're getting a time that you never expected to get?
Yes, it is. And looking back even to that, I'm like 2:10. Like if I ran a 2:10 tomorrow at a meet, I'd be like, oh, like that's not good. So just every time I step on the track, I'm getting so much better, and it's so cool to see.
So that was the good moment. I gotta ask, is there a meet that you wish you would have had back, like you want to do over?
Yes, the this year the indoor SEC championships. I freaked out because it was my first indoor SECs because I didn't run it my freshman year. I ran just outdoors, and so there's like 4 heats of the 800, and like top two from each heat goes to the final. And my heat was stacked. It was like Michaela Rose, uh she's from LSU. She's the best 800-meter runner in college right now. And she was like standing right next to me on the starting line. And I was like, oh my gosh, like why am I racing against her? Which is such a bad mindset to have. And that's what I'm trying to work on this outdoor season. And I just take off, and I started off good. And I was like, I can't keep up with her. Like, this is Michaela Rose. I can't. And I just need to be more confident,
Isn't there an awesome girl from Arkansas as well? Would you have faced her? I know I seen on the Sports Center highlights, girls from Arkansas were winning stuff.
Yes, Arkansas is stacked in everything. They're
So
such
to say you're at Mississippi State and you're going against LSU and Arkansas, you're not being done any favors, huh?
no, they're so good.
So you talked about indoor, and I noticed the upcoming schedule. You got Gainesville outdoor. Been there before. It's going to be hot and muggy. When you talk about the difference between indoor and outdoor, just how much harder is it to compete outdoor when you're in that heat?
I honestly love outdoor so much more. Like indoor is a 200-meter track. The air is like so dry. There's so many people in the little track. And outdoor is just like everyone has good vibes. You're outside. We'll be in Florida, which is hot and muggy, but I'm from Gulfport, so I grew up running hot and muggy too. So I think outdoors a better race because you've had all year, you're training and everything's like falling into line.
So is
Indoors are
SEC at a
different.
different place every year, or is it traditional
Mhm.
in Florida? Okay.
It's a different. Last year it was in Baton Rouge at LSU.
Yeah, hot and muggy there too.
It was so hot and muggy. Oh my gosh.
All right, so I seen we were talking about the team thing. You said you only do that, sometimes, but it had y'all as a all-time top dogs list. Talk about, first talk about who's on that team and just talk about what it means when you see that you're considered, one of the top dogs of all time.
It's so crazy because last year they had a 4x8 run, and I like you only four people run, and I wasn't even in like topic of conversation to be a part of the team. And this year it was like we need you to run the fastest leg, and which was so crazy because I came from not even being in the relay at all to like a main part of it, which was so fun.
So for those who didn't see the graphic I did, who are the other members on there?
My roommate Hunter, Haley Ogle, and Gabrielle Boulay. She's a freshman. She's so awesome. She works so hard. She's gonna be really good, and I'm super excited to like sit and watch it because it's like sitting and watching me freshman year. So
All right, so with the SEC championships coming up, for those who maybe, don't know, who are some other, people we need to be looking for, men or women, that just will really excite us, have a real good chance of winning whatever event they're in.
Parker Balby, I don't know if you know her. She's a Florida runner. She is actually insane. She sets like every time she steps on a track, she's setting the NCAA record. And it's so cool to watch. And the anything from the 10K to 5K and 3K indoors. I'm pretty sure like she's gonna set a crazy record. And the sprints are always so much fun to watch.
Y'all have a
And
good pole vaulter
we do have a good pole vaulter, Emma Hunt.
because I got to see that for the first time in person this year, and that sport is just because I asked the girl who set the record when I
It's
was
so
at Campbell, I was like, "How do you get into this?" Like, I was like, "How do you just decide you're going to be the pole vaulter?" And she
I
actually said
like
she
I
did
will have
ballet
my
or
nails
something.
done. I'll have my nails done sitting in the stands watching it, peeled them all off, watching pole vault. And like 2 weeks ago, I'm not even kidding. I just get so nervous. I like can't breathe when I'm watching them because it's so scary to watch.
Yeah, no, she actually said because you were talking about you did gymnastics. She said she did ballet and gymnastics, and she was always like real flexible. But then that stuff was boring to her, and she got into track. And so, because of her flexibility, she ended up doing long jump and doing that the pole vaulting. And I was like, I guess that kind of makes sense because
Yeah.
when they were looking for who could do it, I guess they ask about your background and they find out
Uh-huh.
who can bend and maybe make this happen. I guess.
That's how I was in high school. Like everyone knew I did gymnastics, but there was no like pole vaulting at Gulfport High, you know. And they were like you should do it. And no. I did high jump in high school. I wasn't bad at it, but mainly I was just running anything they put me in.
So one last question, and then we'll play the game that we played. And I'll let you off this hot seat and put you on another one. But you've just talked about how amazing this experience has been. Just for those who are listening, maybe inspired to want to go out there and reach and do something that maybe they're not sure about. So you're talking to maybe that young girl who's in high school who wants to maybe go to college, but she just doesn't know if she's good enough. And looking at you and hearing your story, you're achieving way better than you ever said. So, I mean, what would be your message for anyone who's maybe considering that?
Be patient, number one thing. Be patient. Be more confident, believe in yourself. And what was the other thing? Oh, num this is really important. Don't compare. Comparing is such a bad thing that especially runners get caught up on because especially with like my coaching, like I trust my coaching and my training so much. And it may not be something that someone else is doing, which you start comparing and that like really gets to your head. You're like, they're doing something that I'm not. But like your coaching, if you trust it, what they're giving you is what's going to work for you. Because my coaches, they know me better than I know myself. They know like what I'm going to do, how I'm going to perform before I even do it. And I finished, and I'm like, oh, like that's exactly what you said I was going to do. And that's what I did.
Absolutely. That's good advice just overall in society. Just, be who you are and quit comparing yourself to others. So I like it. But with that, we're going to play the game we play with every guest called This or That. Very simple. We'll give you two options. You choose one or the other. You can't say neither, can't say both. You down to play?
Yes.
All right, this or that is brought to you by the Bellsmith because obviously we're doing Mississippi State episode. If you want to get the best custom bells there are, don't even have to be a Mississippi State fan. He makes them for all sorts of things, but you can see him on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, or go to Maroon and Company, pick you up a bell, support athletes through NIL, get yourself a bell. I have one, two, three, I think like 16 athletes, 17 that have came on the show, got their bell. You can get one too. Go ring them up and go ring them I don't know. Can you ring them at track? You get in trouble?
Oh yeah, Coach Woods, that's like his number one thing. We're all about his whole thing this season is setting new traditions and he's like, I better see everyone with their cowbells out there and like hyping up. We're before the 4x4, the last event where everyone's like ringing them and so exciting. So
There we go. So if you go out there and check out track, make sure you have your bells or you're not invited back. All right. First question. Would you rather grill out or go out to eat?
go out to eat.
What is your favorite place to go out to eat?
And start wool,
Hmm.
probably bulldog. So basic. Or the bin. The bin's been my place recently. The cheese fries are so good.
It's so basic, but I've been there, and I mean the food's good, so it's a simple answer. All right. Would you rather have a nice house or a nice car?
A nice house.
All right. Would you rather trip and fall in public or pass gas in public?
Probably pass gas.
Me too. Look, I'm glad everybody's been saying trip and fall. Tripping and falling's embarrassing.
It's so embarrassing, especially like during a track meet. I just can't even
I got too
have
many
that as
people
an
that's been
option.
coming on here that are too worried about what people think in regards. They're like, man, that's gross. Like the way they look. I'm like, that's fine, but tripping and
Just
falling.
walk away fast enough. They will never know.
All right. Maroon uniforms or black uniforms?
Black uniforms.
I do believe the black goes hard. I know there are a lot of Mississippi State traditionalists who do not like when you use black uniforms in any of the sports.
I love
I
it.
I think the black goes hard. I love it in softball. I love it in baseball. I love it when I saw it on your track. Like, I
The
love it.
baseball uniforms, the all black ones from like 2015, those
Mhm.
will always be the best.
Yeah, I actually got my 2021 national championship belt that me and four of the other players that were guests of the show done in black. And I had a lot of people ask me why black, and I said it's exactly what you said. That was the last year they wore them. I was a big fan of Sunday Blacks, but
They're the
yeah, the softball wears the all black now, and I love it.
Oh yes, I love the softball team. They're so fun to watch.
All right. You may have not seen both these, so if not, we will skip the question. But if you have, would you rather play on Survivor or play on Big Brother?
I've never watched Big Brother, but I know I would pick Survivor
Yeah,
either
people
way.
ask, with the possibility of people not, having seen these shows, why did this question get put in? Having a guest that just played on Big Brother and then having one that's actively on Survivor right now, um, you know,
That's so cool.
so yeah, I don't know if you've seen it. Quintavious Burdett, the character Q on there, he was the Ole Miss track star and football player, and he was on here 3 years ago. So really cool to see one of our guests on. And then we had Matt Klotz, who's the LSU swimmer on Big Brother. So it's really cool to
That's so
interview
cool.
athletes in general. But then when you see them on like reality TV, it's like,
Hmm.
all right, last question, the money question, literally. If I was to come over there right now and bring you a briefcase with $1 million cash, or you could win a national championship this year, which one do you want?
Win a national championship. Like that's not even a
It's easy
debate.
for you to say when there's not $1 million cash sitting there in front of you.
I don't. I would probably to just like watch one of my friends win a national championship. It's one of my favorite things to do. Any type of championship, any sport, it's always going to be so much fun to watch. And I
Mhm.
just get so excited. Even when Ole Miss won the national championship, I was like baseball, I was like, oh my gosh, like I
Yeah,
was
no,
excited
it
for them.
actually got flipped on me, and depending on who it is, and if like, so I asked a guy who went pro, so it's flipped around to $10 million because he made close to 1 million, and it was Trey Lipscomb from Tennessee, and he flipped it around me, and I'm doing that because of what you just said. He goes, "All right, let me ask you." He goes, "Would you give up the podcast or take $10 million?" I said, I'd take the $10 million. He goes, no. He goes, you've covered, and he said, you've been in Omaha the last 3 years with your son because my son goes with me everywhere. And he's like, the memories you made watching those teams win, he's like, you'd give that back up. And I was like, oh. I was like, no. And so to your point, like watching guys that I know, because we
Mhm.
had more than 10 guests on the Mississippi State team, the Ole Miss team, and the LSU team. And so to
Yeah,
see guys that I know watch win a championship, and then like I just told you about the gymnastics, and my son was there actually for all four. I wouldn't trade it for anything.
yeah. I was downstairs watching the gymnastics one and I was like sweating. And my roommate's like, sports are like really the only thing that like can really make you emotional. And Aaliyah's about to go on beam, and I'm like, I had so much faith in her.
So
I was
I
like, she's
recorded
gonna
because I was in the front row recording all their exercises, and I'm recording the elite one. And when it first started, I was so nervous. And after she lands the triple back, which is the hardest part of her routine, you hear me start talking in the video saying, "We're fixing to win a national championship. It's over." And like
It
as
was
she
that
sticks at
part
the end and she
takes it
starts
just love it.
crying because she knows. Did you see that where she starts crying? She
Yes.
knows it's over.
It was so fun to watch. And especially gymnastics like that, because like growing up, it's so individualized and like competing at the elite level growing up. When you get to college, like they just have so much fun and they're doing it for each other. Like Haley Bryant, she's so much fun to watch. She's the best in college gymnastics. But when she competes, like you can tell she's doing it for her team, which I love so much. She's so humble. All
Yeah, that
gymnasts.
whole team is tight in the way they, all of gymnastics teams do this, but because I know all their routines just the same, I love watching them learn each other's routines and do them on the side. And so, obviously knowing them and talking to them. I mean, it's one of those things they actually like practice because they want to
Yeah.
be able to do it with them successfully. Like they're fans of their own teammates.
Mm-hmm. That's the best teammates to have. People are like that are gonna like celebrate your successes with you.
Sounds like we need to get a gymnastics program, Mississippi State ASAP. We already
Oh
need
my
to get one
gosh.
in Knoxville because Drew Gilbert's mom, the baseball player, she said she was mad at him for picking Tennessee because she's a massive gymnastics fan, and she said, "I've had to watch you play baseball your whole life, and you couldn't pick a school with
I would
gymnastics."
be at every single meeting, like front biggest fan, that'd be me. It's so much fun to
I mean,
watch.
I've learned to now that I've seen everything. I'm like, for instance, I had never saw volleyball, and then started going to college volleyball, and I just saw these girls spiking it down each
So
other.
much
And it's
fun.
like, oh my God, this game's intense. Like every TV does no sports justice until you're in
Uh-uh.
person.
I any sports thing, like it just makes me so happy, honestly. I'm such
Well,
a sports person.
you picked the right school. Obviously, it's one of the schools, like I said, where everything is done. So, good place to be. But before we let you out of here, is there anything you want to plug or promote? Give anybody a shout out, and you got any, NIL, do anything across the board? Just anything you think of nonprofit you want to throw out there?
I think I'm good. Congrats to LSU gymnastics. Huge
Man, if
fan.
you talk about LSU too much on this episode, I'm gonna have a
I
lot to
know.
talk about how a
I'm like,
Mississippi State episode kept talking about LSU. You already got, busted wearing Ole Miss. They're
I
gonna
know.
take
I
your
need to.
Instagram.
I'm like, actually, I grew up the biggest Mississippi State fan. Like anyone, if you ask any, like I would cry if we lost the Egg Bowl. I probably still do.
There you go. Well, if you want to go see this picture on Instagram, you can go check out Mallory Streetman on Instagram or go to Hell State TF. Check out track and field. They do have the SEC championships coming up. You can keep up with everything they got going on. But Mallory, we appreciate you coming on, getting us up to date and Mississippi State track. Like I said, we got a really big Mississippi State fan base, and we like supporting all the sports. So thank you so much for coming and taking the time to tell your story.
No, thank you.
Absolutely. That's Mallory Streetman, everybody. If you like hearing her story or you just like hearing average Joes talk X's and O's, please like and share the podcast on Facebook. Retweet us on Twitter. Listen and subscribe on Apple, Spotify, and Anchor. As always, ratings, comments, hugs, love, feedback, all the good stuff is welcome. We'll see everyone back later tonight. That's right. We were supposed to do this episode last night. I went to baseball
Oh
instead.
yeah.
Mallory did me a favor, so I got another episode tonight. We'll be back in just a minute with AJ Causey, pitcher from Tennessee. So in the meantime, remember, strong body, sharp minds, grit and grind all the time. We are out.